city, and someone typed in looking for college in the city, that bidding keyword I bid on will trigger the ad to show. The one thing that people make a mistake with, and it's actually somewhat common, is that there's a way to have the ad that shows be dynamic. It's called dynamic keyword insertion. And that is where someone types in the keyword that you want your ad to show for. Instead of having the title of the ad be set in stone, it could pull that keyword that was typed in and put that into the ad. So in theory, it gives the ad more relevance. So someone who sees that will go, oh, that ad's more relevant to my query because the keyword's in there. The mistake that schools have made in the past is they have a campaign with broad match open. So if you type in a keyword, broad match is so liberal that it will pull in synonyms, it will pull in keywords that might not even be exactly the same. And so it could pull in a different keyword than you anticipated because it's broadly matching the keyword that you want to search for, or you want to show in the search results for. And then that keyword that randomly pulled in shows up dynamically in your ad. And in theory, this is not actually a keyword, it's a key phrase. They could type in a full phrase and have yourself show up. So they could type in something that's not true, like a schools with this, and you end up ranking for that, even though you don't offer that or don't have that, and then that shows up in your ad. And so that actually has happened to schools before, and it's happened in a lot of industries. So that's just one thing. It's very specific, but if you are doing any Google AdWords, and you're doing it yourself, or you have people doing it internally, and you use dynamic keyword insertion, which is a very common thing. I actually love it when I was managing AdWords. You just have to be on top of the match types, not allowing it to be so broad that any keyword that it matches to shows up in your own ad, because that's your editorial. And so if it shows up in your ad, it's pretty much you're claiming that, even if you didn't even know you would be claiming that, because it's a dynamically inserted keyword.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just a parenthesis here that earlier today I was in a session with Chris and Tammy, and they said exactly what you said. It was not about legal issues themselves, but they mentioned exactly the dynamic insertion and the issues related to dynamic.
Well, if you look at the keyword search report, which I don't expect any of you to do, but the way it matches keywords is sometimes you struggle to see how it pulled that keyword in on the match. But you get a list of the keywords that are ranked, so you could you actually create negative keywords in your account, so it doesn't do that. But yeah, you could be typing in, you could be being on the keyword like medical assistant or medical office assistant or something like that, and then it broad matches a different program that's similar. So it might broad match medical billing and coding, or nurse's aid, or something that's similar. It might have a few keywords similar, and then in the end, your ad will be a lie because they'll say the different terms in the actual one that you're wanting to market. So you could even have it show up a different ad, and they click on that, and the landing page says something different than the dynamically inserted keyword. So I think I beat that pretty good. So moving on, another area, and I think everyone is pretty good with this, but it's something that is more of just being on top of it, making sure you're updating it rather than having it on your website. And that is all the regulatory docs. So we're talking net price calculators and all the docs you have to have for outcomes and all your disclosures and all of that.
Yeah, and those are changing all the time. You start having something, and the government, either at the local level or at state level or federal level, they change what the regulations are, what the requirements are, what they need you to do. So on that area, what we suggest is that you have, for example, if you are doing that on your website, the websites that we have, they all have, and when we try to use this plugin that not only controls versioning on this documents, but whenever possible, for example, have something that shows up to what point that document is valid, and just basically stay on top of it, which is to guarantee that whatever documents you have linking from your website, any regulatory documents, or even regulatory pages that you have to have content that is very specific and it's only geared towards satisfying regulations, that you guarantee that that information that is there is up to date, and is up to date with the regulation itself. So you have to know what is happening and be ready to change that at a moment's notice. So that's what I try here. So on our websites, we have plugins that we use in which you can keep the document. For example, the document link is the same, have versionings on those documents, have even a count of how many times that document is being accessed from your website, but also keeping a kind of a expiry date on your document, something that guarantees that once the document reach an expiry date, you are aware of that and you're ready to update that document and guarantee that it's compliant, essentially. That's what you want.
Awesome. And just checking time, we got 6 minutes, so we'll do one more and then leave it open for a little bit of questions if you four have any. So next one is proactive improvements. So these are things that you're going above and beyond what you need to do, or things that you're looking at in the future, being on top of them before they come down.
Yeah, essentially, the message to remember is that you cannot do it and think that it's done, it's finished, you don't need to worry about it. It has to be part of your process. So for example, again, on a session earlier today, that same session that talked about the dynamic keyword, they were talking about the changes that are coming down the pipes with Google in cookie policies for 2021. Things that are changing in a few months, but that we have to be prepared for those on the website. The behavior on the website will be different. The collection of data on the website will change. Sometimes not because of regulations, but because of limitations, technical limitations imposed by the web browsers, imposed by government regulations. So you have to be aware of that and keep yourself ahead of the curve, essentially. That's what it is. Sometimes you implement things a little bit earlier so people know that you are on top of things. Sometimes you have to keep regulations, old ones and the new ones, and you have to be aware if that's something that is required at that moment or for that case specifically. So you have to be not only waiting for things to happen, but proactively looking for what is coming down and be ready for those. Put things in place that will allow you to change things as they are required without compromising the quality of the content on the site. At the end of the day, that's all about the content. It's all about the visitor. It's all about guaranteeing that that person that comes to the website gets the information that he or she wants, and be easy to navigate, easy to find, easy to connect with the school when required, and guarantee that everything goes smoothly, and at the same time compliant with regulations. So that's the important thing. That's the important message, I would say, about all the points that we talked here. It's to just be on top of things. It's an ongoing process. It's something that you have to keep doing again and again and again, and you should put that in your daily process as you move forward. That's how we do it here.
Awesome.
So I don't know, yeah, if you guys have any questions about what we talked, or if there's anything that we didn't talk about that you would like to hear about on this subject of content versus compliance. We are open to you.
Yep. I think we got about 3 minutes, so we can answer whatever we can that time. You can ask us other questions too, like trivia, whatever you want.
Anything that is website, technical, compliance, content related. I'm personally very pro content. I believe that when you're creating a website, essentially is to give people access to information. So everything should be geared towards that. And of course, when you create content, one of the things in this industry that you have to be really concerned about is compliance. So you give people as much content as possible, as clearly as possible, and you are unlikely to run into any troubles. But at the end of the day, it is something that you have to be at the back, in the back of your mind. Anything you do, any content that you add, any content that you update, you have to have that in mind.
Mhm. Excellent. Well, I think we're done. We could all head back. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we hit the 2-minute
We got a
mark.
2-minute warning now. So if anyone has anything left, mention it now, or we'll just see you all in the main room in another 100 seconds from now.
Feel free. You can contact us directly also after. You can message us. You can chat, send through the chat a message specific to us. And we are here basically to help you with everything that we can.
Awesome. And just so you know, Alex's email is alex@enrollmentresources.com. Just send him an email. Just ask him any question, you know.
Right. Well, if I can answer, I will.
How good are you with quantum physics?
I barely understand that. But there was a who was the guy that won the Nobel Prize?
There's been a couple of those.
What's his name? No, the American one, quite famous one. He
Freeman?
said that, Freeman? No, he said that if you understand quantum physics, you're wrong because nobody understands it.
Yes.
Everybody's perplexed because the mathematics they match what it has to be, but they don't understand why or how. But we can talk about that if it's
it was Richard Feynman.
Feynman, yes, that's the man.
Feynman, yeah, there's no R in there. Sorry, yeah, Richard Feynman. Yeah, I just I googled that and he first one came up.
So let's do a soft it out. Different from most of sessions today. We just
we have the
time to just say thank you and see you soon.